There is a secret law that governs every miracle you have ever witnessed, a law that operates silently, transforming the invisible into the visible, the impossible into the inevitable. This law chooses no favorites, discriminates neither rich nor poor, young nor old. It simply obeys. Joseph Murphy discovered that within you exists a faithful servant incapable of questioning, yet perfect at manifesting. This servant does not ask if you deserve it, does not evaluate if it is possible. It simply executes what you program with absolute precision. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract luck while others live in cycles of misfortune? Why certain prayers are answered while others echo into the void? Why some find healing where doctors saw only despair? The answer lies in the formula. It is not magic, not luck, not a divine privilege reserved for a few chosen ones. It is a scientific law as precise as gravity, as reliable as the rising sun. A simple formula, a powerful formula, a formula that is about to transform your life. Your thoughts are not just fleeting reflections. They are living seeds being planted in the most fertile garden in the universe, your subconscious. And every seed planted, with emotion and repetition, inevitably transforms into a visible harvest. Are you ready to discover how a single shift in the way you think can open the floodgates of miracles in your life? Prepare yourself. The secret that has changed millions of lives is about to be revealed. There is a type of suffering that doctors cannot diagnose, psychologists cannot name, and medicines cannot heal. It is the invisible suffering that hides in the deepest caves of your soul, bleeding silently in every experience, staining every attempt at happiness with a pain that seems to have neither origin nor end. You know, this pain. It wakes with you in the morning when the first rays of the sun touch your window, and for a brief second, you forget it exists. But soon it whispers, remember who you really are, remember what you cannot have. Remember what will always be missing. It is the pain of loneliness that persists even when you are surrounded by people, the pain of scarcity that tightens your chest even when your bills are paid, the pain of illness that torments even when tests are normal, the pain of failure that echoes even when you achieve small victories. This is the pain of the divided heart, of the man who works tirelessly yet always feels inadequate, of the woman who gives herself in relationships yet always feels abandoned, of the family that struggles to prosper yet always finds the same invisible ceiling blocking their ascent. You've tried everything, haven't you? Changed jobs, moved cities, changed social circles, read books, did therapies, took medications, prayed, meditated, fasted, and still the pain remains like a shadow clinging to your soul, following every step, whispering in every ear, constantly reminding you that something inside you is broken. But why is this pain so persistent? Why does it resist all treatments? Why does it survive every attempt at a cure? Joseph Murphy discovered the most disturbing and at the same time most liberating answer in human history. The pain that doesn't go away is the pain that was imprinted not on your flesh but on your subconscious, not on your physical body, but on the silent servant that governs every cell, every heartbeat, every emotional response of your existence. Imagine a house with a crack in its foundation. You can paint the walls, replace the furniture, decorate the rooms with the utmost care, but as long as the foundation is compromised, the entire structure will keep shaking. The whole house remains at risk of collapse. Your foundation is the subconscious, and if that foundation has recorded the impression of pain, whether through cruel words you heard as a child, traumas experienced in youth or cycles of suffering observed in your family, then the entire structure of your life will reflect this invisible crack. That's why you can achieve professional success and still feel like an imposter. That's why you can be surrounded by love and still feel lonely. That's why you can have physical health and yet carry a disease of the soul that drains your vital energy day after day. Pain, imprinted on the subconscious, expresses itself in your life like a physical law, precise as gravity, inevitable as the sunrise. What has been recorded inside will manifest outside. What is registered in the invisible will be reproduced in the visible. You walk through the streets carrying this impression like a silent decree. I don't deserve it. I can't do it. I am not enough. And the world, obeying the subconscious law, arranges situations, people, and circumstances to confirm exactly this decree. But there is something doctors don't know, something therapists don't teach, something most people never discover. The same law that perpetuates pain can be used to heal it. The same subconscious that records suffering can be reprogrammed to record healing. Not through force, struggle, denial, or repression, but through a stronger impression, an impression wrapped in faith, repeated consistently, whispered at the exact moment when the subconscious is most receptive, the sacred instant between wakefulness and sleep. Have you noticed that the last images and thoughts before sleep are the ones most deeply engraved in your mind? That the final feelings you experience before falling asleep often color your dreams and many times set the tone for the next day. This is not a coincidence, it is law. The subconscious, when the body relaxes and the conscious mind lowers its guard, becomes like warm wax, ready to receive any impression you wish to imprint. It is in this sacred moment that you can whisper a truth more powerful than any lie that has been planted in you. A simple truth yet, charged with the divine power to rewrite your foundation. A truth that, repeated night after night, will dissolve old cracks and establish a new, solid, unbreakable base. But here is the secret Joseph Murphy discovered after decades of studying the human mind. The formula doesn't work if you merely know it intellectually. It works when you whisper it directly to the heart, when you imbue it with emotion, when you repeat it as if planting a sacred seed in the most fertile garden of the universe. Are you ready to discover the exact words that can dissolve decades of printed pain? Are you ready to whisper to your heart the truth that will free you once and for all? Are you ready to transform the impression that governs your life? Joseph Murphy spent decades of his life uncovering the most powerful and most neglected law of human existence, the law of impression and expression, a law as fundamental as gravity, as precise as mathematics, as infallible as the movement of the planets. This law governs every heartbeat, every breath, every thought that crosses the mind, every circumstance that manifests in your life. And the most extraordinary part is that this law never fails. It works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, silently, operating behind the scenes of your existence, transforming invisible impressions into tangible experiences. What is impressed on the subconscious must be expressed in life. This is the fundamental law, simple in words, revolutionary in its implications. Your subconscious is like an absolutely faithful servant. It never questions, never argues, never doubts. It simply obeys any impression you engrave on it with emotion, repetition. It will transform into physical reality with the precision of a Swiss watch. Murphy discovered that the subconscious cannot distinguish between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. Do it. An image charged with emotion is reality. A thought repeated with conviction is truth. An impression planted with faith is law that must be fulfilled. Think of the subconscious as an infinitely fertile garden. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every image you visualize is a seed you are planting in this garden. The garden doesn't choose which seeds grow. It makes all seeds grow, flowers or weeds, sweet fruits or poisonous plants. If you plant seeds of fear, you harvest experiences of insecurity. If you plant seeds of scarcity, you harvest situations of limitation. If you plant seeds of illness, you harvest manifestations of weakness. Not because the universe is cruel, but because the law is impartial. It works based on what has been impressed, not on what you consciously desire. But here is the revelation that has changed the lives of millions. The same law that creates problems can create miracles. The same subconscious that manifests limitations can manifest abundance. The same servant that obeys impressions of fear can obey impressions of faith. The key is learning how to re-impress the subconscious. Murphy taught that there is a sacred moment, a golden gateway, that opens once a day in the life of every human being. A moment when the conscious mind, the one that argues, doubts, resists, lowers its guard, and allows the subconscious to receive direct impressions. This moment is the instant between wakefulness and sleep. When you are about to drift off, your brain enters a special state called the hypnagogic state. In this state, brain waves change, mental resistance decreases, and the subconscious becomes like warm wax, ready to receive any impression you wish to imprint. This is why nighttime thoughts are so powerful. This is why worries before sleep turn into nightmares. This is why the last images in your mind become the themes of your dreams. You are literally programming your subconscious as you fall asleep. But most people waste this sacred moment. Instead of planting seeds of healing, prosperity, and peace, they fill their minds with anxieties about the next day, regrets from the past, and fears of the future. And then they wonder, why doesn't their life change? Joseph Murphy discovered that when you whisper a spiritual truth at the exact moment before sleep, that truth imprints on the subconscious with irresistible force, not as a timid suggestion, but as a divine command that must be fulfilled. The subconscious does not distinguish between an old impression and a new one. It only follows the strongest, most recent, most emotionally charged impression. When you whisper with faith, "I am prosperous," the subconscious immediately begins to reorganize your life to reflect prosperity. When you whisper with conviction, "I am healthy," the subconscious directs every cell, organ, and system of your body to express perfect health. But there is a secret within the secret. The law only works when you speak directly to the subconscious in the language it understands. This language is not made of logical arguments or rational explanations. It is made of vivid images and genuine emotions. The subconscious thinks in pictures, feels in colors, and responds to symbols. When you whisper, "I am healed," you must see the healing taking place. Feel the life energy flowing through your body. Experience the sensation of perfect health. The image must be so real that it evokes the corresponding emotion, and the emotion must be so intense that it imprints like hot iron. Murphy taught that faith is emotional impression, not intellectual belief. It is felt conviction, absolute certainty that vibrates through every cell of your being. When you whisper a truth with this faith, you are not merely repeating words, you are decreeing a new reality. And here is the mystical power of this law. Once a true impression is imprinted on the subconscious, the entire creative force of the universe mobilizes to manifest it. Circumstances begin to align, people appear at the right moment. Opportunities open where doors were once closed. What seemed impossible becomes inevitable. The subconscious is your most loyal servant, but also your strictest executive. It never takes a vacation, never rests, never fails. While you sleep, it works. While you are awake, it organizes every second. It is transforming your deepest impressions into your most visible reality. The tragedy of most lives is not a lack of potential, but improper programming. For years, decades, people have been recording impressions of limitation, fear, and unworthiness in their subconscious. And the subconscious, obedient as always, has manifested exactly that. But today you have discovered the master key. You can completely reprogram your subconscious. You can erase decades of negative impressions with stronger positive impressions. You can replace patterns of failure with patterns of success. You can swap programs of disease for programs of radiant health. The law is operating at this very moment. As you read these words, your subconscious is absorbing not just the ideas but the vibration behind them, the expectation being created, the faith being awakened. Have you already begun to reprogram your life? Tonight, when you lie down, you will no longer be a person ignorant of this law. You will be someone who knows the most closely guarded secret of human existence. Your whispered words in the silence of the night become the orders that govern your life. What will you whisper to your subconscious? What reality will you imprint on the universe's most faithful servant? What miracle will you program to manifest in your life? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the most powerful metaphor Joseph Murphy ever shared with the world. Imagine that inside your chest is a secret garden. Not an ordinary garden, but an infinite mystical garden where every thought becomes a seed and every emotion becomes the rain that makes these seeds grow. This garden is your subconscious. Now imagine that you have spent your entire life scattering seeds in this garden without realizing what you were doing. Every word of doubt you spoke was a weed seed. Every fearful thought was a thorn seed. Every image of failure was a poisonous plant seed. And the garden, faithful as always, grew exactly what you planted. Not because it wanted to harm you, not because there was something wrong with the soil, but because this is the law of the garden. It cannot grow anything other than what was planted. It does not choose. It does not filter. It does not judge whether the seed is good or bad. It simply makes it grow. For years, decades perhaps, you walk through life asking, why don't my flowers grow? Why does only weeds sprout in my garden? Why is my harvest always bitter? And the answer was there, simple and devastating. You were planting the wrong seeds. But today, you have discovered something that will change your life forever. You have discovered that you can pull up all the weeds and plant completely new seeds. You can transform your garden of desolation into a paradise of abundance. You can replace thorns with roses, poison with sweet fruit, darkness with radiant light. How? Through conscious re-implantation. Now imagine you are standing at the entrance of your secret garden, holding a bag filled with the most precious seeds in the universe. Seeds of perfect health, seeds of infinite abundance, seeds of unconditional love, seeds of peace that surpass all understanding. These seeds hold a special power. When planted with faith and watered with genuine emotion, they grow faster and stronger than any weed. They don't just sprout, they dominate the garden, transforming the entire landscape. But here's the secret most people never discover. There is a magical moment to plant these seeds, a moment when the soil of the garden is softest, most receptive, and ready to accept any impression. This moment is just as you are about to fall asleep. In this sacred instant, the conscious gardener, the part of you that doubts, questions, and resists, rests, and the subconscious garden becomes completely open, like freshly tilled soil waiting for the seed. Now imagine yourself lying in your bed on the edge between wakefulness and sleep. You gently hold a golden seed in your hands. This seed contains all the truth you wish to manifest in your life. It could be health, prosperity, love, peace, any reality you long to experience. You softly whisper to the seed, "You will grow, you will flourish, you will dominate my entire garden." Then, with reverence and faith, you plant the seed in the center of the garden of your heart. Immediately you see the seed begin to germinate. Feel roots spreading through the soil, absorbing all available spiritual nourishment. You witness the first green shoot breaking through the surface. But it doesn't stop there. Joseph Murphy taught that you must water this seed with the crystal clearer water of visualization. As you whisper your truth, you must see with the eyes of imagination, the result already manifested. If you planted the seed of perfect health, see your body radiating vitality. If you planted the seed of abundance, see your needs being met in overflowing plenty. Visualization is the water that makes the seed grow. Yet there is an even more powerful element. Emotion is the sun that makes the plant bloom. When you feel genuine gratitude for the miracle you are planting, when you experience joy as if you are already living that reality, when you vibrate with absolute certainty that the seed will grow at that moment, you are providing the divine fuel that transforms possibility into inevitability. Imagine that night after night you repeat this sacred ritual. Each night you plant the same precious seed, water it with the same vivid visualization, and nurture it with the same burning emotion. and then something miraculous happens. The seed doesn't just grow, it multiplies. When seed becomes two, two become four, four become hundreds. June, the entire garden is covered with an abundant harvest of the reality you desired. And when your inner garden changes, the outer world has no choice but to reflect that change. If you've planted health in the garden of your subconscious, your physical body begins to mirror that reality. Cells regenerate faster, organs function in perfect harmony, and vital energy flows like a powerful river through every vein. If you've planted prosperity, your external life begins to manifest abundance. Opportunities appear, the right people cross your path, and resources multiply in ways that defy logic. The inner garden always determines the outer landscape. But here's an even deeper truth. There is a garden greater than your personal garden. Joseph Murphy discovered that all individual gardens are connected in a cosmic garden, the collective subconscious of humanity. When you plant seeds of light, peace, and healing in your personal garden, these seeds send spiritual pollen into the greater garden. Other people, even unknowingly, begin to feel the influence of your spiritual cultivation. Your family becomes more harmonious, your work environment more positive, and even strangers around you are touched by the fragrance of the flowers you secretly nurture. This is why the world needs your transformation, not just for your own good, but for the good of all humanity. Every healed garden contributes to the healing of the planetary garden. Now imagine yourself standing in your transformed garden. Where thorns once grew, fragrant roses now bloom. Where weeds once sprouted, fruit-laden trees now flourish. Where darkness once reigned, a golden light shines from every leaf, petal, and fruit. This is your garden after you've learned to plant consciously. And as you contemplate this miraculous transformation, you hear a voice whispering in the wind. This has always been your truth. This has always been the reality of your potential. You simply forgot how to plant the right seeds. Tonight, when you lie down, you will no longer be an unconscious gardener. You will be a cultivator of miracles, knowing exactly which seed to choose, where to plant it, how to water it, and how to create the perfect conditions for it to bloom into a reality more beautiful than you ever dared to dream. Which seed will you plant first in your sacred garden? There was a woman named Maria Helena, who at 38 discovered that she had spent decades of her life living under an invisible curse. Not a curse cast by witches or sorcerers, but a much subtler and far more devastating curse, the curse of the words she herself had planted in her subconscious. Maria Helena owned a small bakery she had inherited from her mother. On the outside, her life seemed normal, even successful. She worked hard, paid her bills, and maintained a small but solid circle of friends. But inside, she carried a pain she could never fully explain. It was the pain of perpetual scarcity. No matter how much she worked, there was always a shortage of money at the end of the month. No matter how many customers she served, there was always a sense that the business was on the verge of collapse. No matter how many times she counted and recounted her savings, it never felt like enough. What Maria Helena didn't know was that this reality had been carefully programmed into her subconscious years before, when she was still a small child. She grew up in a family where the most heard phrase was, "Money doesn't grow on trees." Her mother repeated daily, "People like us don't get rich." Her father sighed every night, "We work hard, but we never get ahead." And during the 18 years she lived in that atmosphere, these phrases planted themselves in the garden of her subconscious like poisonous seeds. What is impressed must be expressed. For 20 years of adult life, Maria Helena's subconscious faithfully reproduced the scarcity program installed in her childhood. She worked harder than any competitor, yet her profits were always modest. She saved every penny, but emergencies always appeared to drain her reserves. She dreamed of prosperity, but deep down she believed that people like her didn't deserve abundance. The crisis came on a Tuesday in September. Maria Helena discovered she would need to pay for a major repair on the bakery's oven, a cost that simply didn't fit her budget. That night, sitting in her kitchen, she cried like she hadn't since childhood. Not only for the financial situation, but for a deeper feeling, the sense of being condemned to a life of limitation. It was at this moment of total despair that the universe placed a book by Joseph Murphy in her hands, left behind by a customer at the bakery. Curious, she began to read and discovered something that changed her understanding of her own existence. She was not a victim of circumstances, she was a victim of her own beliefs. Murphy explained that every repeated thought becomes an impression on the subconscious, and every impression manifests as external reality. Maria Helena realized with a shock that ran through her entire being that she had spent decades actively programming her own poverty. Every time she said, "I don't have money," she was planting scarcity. Every time she thought, "I'll never make it," she was cultivating failure. Every time she mentally repeated the limiting phrases of her childhood, she was watering the poisonous seeds that created her reality of lack. But if she had programmed poverty, she could reprogram abundance. That very night, following Murphy's instructions, Maria Helena did something she had never consciously done in her life. She planted a seed of prosperity in the garden of her subconscious. She lay down in bed, took 3 deep breaths, and whispered with all the faith she could summon, "Divine abundance flows to me now. All my needs are met." At first, her conscious mind protested, "This is ridiculous. How can words change my financial situation?" But Maria Helena ignored the resistance and continued repeating the phrase, visualizing her prosperous bakery, her full cash register, happy customers, and her life flourishing in abundance. Night after night, she repeated the same sacred ritual, and then something extraordinary began to happen. By the 3rd week, a client mentioned that he was looking for someone to supply special breads for his restaurant. Maria Helena, who usually felt small and inadequate for bigger opportunities, found herself responding with a confidence she didn't know she possessed. "I can do that for you." By the 5th week, a local school approached her to provide daily snacks, a contract that would triple her monthly income. Coincidence? Maria Helena began to suspect it was not. By the 7th week, she received an unexpected call from a distant relative who wanted to invest in her business, offering exactly the amount needed to renovate her oven and more. In less than 2 months, her financial reality had been completely transformed. But the deepest transformation was not external, it was internal. Maria Helena discovered that she had developed an unshakable confidence in divine providence. Where she once lived in constant anxiety about money, she now walked with a serenity that radiated to everyone around her. Customers began to comment on the unique atmosphere of the bakery. "This place has a special energy," they said. "The breads here have a unique flavor." What they were sensing was the vibration of abundance that Maria Helena now carried within herself. A year later, she had expanded to a 2nd store. 2 years later, she owned a small chain of bakeries that became a city reference. But more important than material success was the inner freedom she had gained. The formula that transformed Maria Helena's life was disarmingly simple: recognition, decision, practice, persistence, and gratitude. Recognition. She realized her limitations were subconscious programs, not immutable facts. Decision. She consciously chose to reprogram her subconscious with impressions of abundance. Practice every night in the sacred moment before sleep. She planted seeds of prosperity through faith-filled words and vivid visualizations. Persistence. She continued the process, even when her conscious mind doubted, until the new impression became dominant. Gratitude. She gave thanks for the miracles even before they manifested, creating the emotional vibration that accelerated their manifestation. Maria Helena's story is not unique. Joseph Murphy documented thousands of similar cases over decades of his ministry. People transforming health, relationships, careers, and finances through the power of conscious impression. What made these cases special wasn't some exceptional talent or favorable circumstance. It was simply the correct application of the law of the subconscious. Ordinary people discovering they had direct access to the universe's most creative power, the power that turns thoughts into reality. Maria Helena often says that her true wealth is not her thriving bakeries or a robust bank account. Her true wealth is the knowledge that she can reprogram any area of her life through sacred whispers to the subconscious. She learned that we are not prisoners of the past, slaves to genetics or victims of circumstances. We are conscious creators capable of planting any seed we choose in the infinitely fertile garden of the subconscious. And if Maria Helena could transform decades of limiting programming in just a few months of conscious practice, imagine what is possible for you tonight when you whisper your first seeds of transformation. Remember the woman who discovered that words are not just sounds leaving the mouth. They are decrees that shape destinies, formulas that create miracles, keys that open any door you wish to pass through. Now comes the moment you've been waiting for, the sacred protocol that transforms simple words into tangible miracles. This is not an abstract mental exercise. It is a scientific, spiritual, and deeply practical process which, when followed, precisely activates the universe's most powerful forces in your favor. Joseph Murphy discovered that there is an exact formula to impress the subconscious. It is not vague or left to chance. It is a specific sequence of actions that, when performed at the right moment and in the correct way, penetrates all the resistances of the conscious mind and is recorded directly in the faithful servant that governs your life. Prepare to receive the complete protocol. Phase 1, Sacred Preparation. Step 1. Choose your golden moment. Timing is absolutely crucial. There is only one moment each day when the subconscious is fully open to reprogramming the last 10 to 15 minutes before falling asleep. This is when your brain waves naturally shift from the beta state, normal consciousness, to the alpha and theta states, maximum receptivity. Do not perform this protocol during the day. Do not do it while distracted. Do it only when you're about to sleep, when your conscious mind is relaxing and the golden gate of the subconscious opens. Step 2. Create an inner sanctuary. Lie comfortably in your bed. Turn off all electronic devices. Silence is essential. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths, allowing each exhale to carry away the tensions of the day. Now visualize yourself descending a golden staircase, leading to the sacred center of your heart. With each step down, you become more relaxed, more receptive, more connected to the infinite source of power within you. Upon reaching the bottom of the staircase, you're in the temple of your subconscious, a place of golden light, absolute peace, and infinite potential. Step 3. Place your hand on your heart. This physical gesture is essential. Gently place your right hand over your chest at the heart level. This touch unites the spoken word with the emotional center, creating a direct bridge between your conscious intention and subconscious power. Feel the rhythm of your heart beneath your hand. This is the sacred drum that will mark the rhythm of your transformation. Phase 2, the universal formula. Now you are ready for the formula that Joseph Murphy considered the most powerful sequence of words ever discovered. I am guided by infinite intelligence. Divine wisdom governs my life now. All my needs are supplied now. I radiate health, peace, and abundance. The miracle is already happening in me. These 5 phrases contain all the elements needed to completely reprogram your subconscious. Divine guidance for your decisions, higher wisdom for your choices, abundant provision for your needs, radiant health for your body, and active manifestation of the impossible. But here's the crucial secret. Do not recite these phrases mechanically. Each word must be whispered with reverence, as if you are pronouncing a decree that will reorganize the entire structure of reality in your favor. Phase 3. The deep imprint technique. Step 4. Whisper with loving authority. Your voice should be an audible whisper, not silent, not loud, as if sharing the universe's most precious secret with your best friend. Each word must vibrate with absolute conviction. Start with the first phrase. I'm guided by infinite intelligence. Whisper it slowly, savoring each syllable. Repeat 3 times, allowing each repetition to penetrate deeper into your consciousness. Step 5. Activate the sacred visualization. While whispering, see a golden light descending from infinity and entering through the top of your head. This light represents infinite intelligence, becoming active in your life. See it flowing through every cell, every organ, every thought. Feel this light filling your heart with wisdom that surpasses all understanding. Experience the feeling of being guided by a higher force that always knows exactly what to do. Step 6. Awaken the corresponding emotion. This is the most powerful element. You must feel the truth of the words as you speak them. Not just believe intellectually, but experience it emotionally as if the reality is already manifesting. When you whisper, "All my needs are met," feel the gratitude of someone whose life is completely provided for. When you declare, "I radiate health," experience vitality flowing through every cell. Phase 4. Specific applications. Joseph Murphy taught that the general formula can be customized for specific areas of life. Here are the protocols for the most common needs for perfect health. Every cell of my body vibrates with divine health. Perfect life flows through me. Now my body heals and regenerates naturally. I'm a temple of radiant health. Visualization. See a golden green light traveling through every organ, renewing, healing, vitalizing. Feel perfect energy pulsing in every part of your body for financial abundance. Divine wealth flows to me easily. I am a magnet for infinite prosperity. Abundant opportunities open before me. My table is always full. Visualization. See yourself living in total abundance. Your bank account is thriving. Your needs are met. Your hands are generous. Feel the security and freedom of true prosperity for harmonious relationships. Divine love flows through me. I attract perfect relationships. Harmony and understanding surround me. I radiate unconditional love. Visualization. See yourself surrounded by people who love, respect, and support you. Feel the warmth of true love flowing in all directions for inner peace. The peace of God fills my soul. I rest in divine serenity. All anxiety dissolves in me. Now I am an oasis of calm visualization. See yourself in a place of absolute peace, perhaps a serene garden or a quiet beach. Feel deep stillness penetrating to your very bones. Sissio phase, the seal of faith step. 7. The gratitude decree. After whispering your chosen phrases, seal the protocol with gratitude. I thank you, Father, because it is already done. I thank you for the miracle manifesting. I thank you for the answer already on its way. This gratitude is not for something you hope to receive in the future. It is for something you have already received on the spiritual plane, and that must now manifest in the physical plane. Step 8. Sacred silence. After gratitude, remain in absolute silence for a few minutes. Do not think about anything else. Do not analyze whether it worked. Do not doubt. Just rest in the certainty that the seed has been planted in the most fertile soil in the universe. Allow yourself to naturally drift into this state of peace and trust. Phase 6. The Golden Rules. Rule 1. Absolute consistency. Perform this protocol every night for a minimum of 21 days. Joseph Murphy discovered that it takes at least 3 weeks for a new impression to become dominant in the subconscious. Rule 2. Sacred secrecy. Do not tell anyone about your practice. Keeping it secret preserves concentrated energy and prevents external doubts from contaminating your process. Rule 3. Serene expectation. During the day, live with confident expectation but without anxiety. Know that the law is working even if you do not see immediate results. Rule 4. Do not force. If one night you feel too tired or distracted, do not force the protocol. It is better to skip a night than to perform it mechanically. Rule 5. Personalize wisely. You may adapt specific phrases, but always keep the language positive, present, and emotional. Never use negatives. Say, I am prosperous, not I am not poor. The miracle of consistency. Remember, you are not just repeating words. You are applying the most powerful law in the universe, the law that governs how thoughts become reality. Every whisper is a seed of a miracle planted in the most fertile garden of existence. Joseph Murphy assured that if you follow this protocol faithfully for 21 consecutive nights, your life will begin to change in ways that will surprise you, not because you are especially deserving, but because you will be operating in harmony with the fundamental laws of creation. Tonight, you begin your journey of transformation. The supreme moment has arrived. The instant when all theory dissolves and only the pure power of the word spoken with divine authority remains. You are no longer learning the formula. You are becoming the formula itself. Joseph Murphy discovered that there is a climax in the subconscious imprinting process, a sacred moment when all forces of the universe align to transform possibility into inevitable reality. That moment is here for you now. Rise internally, not physically, but spiritually. Rise in consciousness as one who has discovered the best-kept secret of creation. You are no longer a beggar of blessings. You are a commander of miracles. Feel the ancestral power awakening in your veins, the same power that parted the Red Sea through Moses, the same power that resurrected Jesus, the same power that transforms thoughts into worlds. This power is alive in you at this very moment. Declare now with absolute authority, I am the infinite intelligence in action. I am divine wisdom manifested. I am unlimited abundance flowing. I am perfect health radiating. I am the miracle happening. Now, feel these words not as sounds leaving your mouth, but as decrees flowing from the cosmic source through you. Each word is a command that reorganizes the molecular structure of reality. Each syllable is an order that mobilizes all invisible forces in your favor. The subconscious is listening. The universe is obeying. The transformation has already begun, but we are not finished yet. There exists a final decree that Joseph Murphy considered the most powerful of all, the decree that eternally seals your transformation. Divine order now restores me completely. These 7 words contain all the creative power of the cosmos. Divine order, the absolute perfection that governs everything from the movement of the planets to the beating of your heart. Now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you become more worthy. Now, restores me. Not partially, not a little, but completely to the original perfection. Repeat this decree 3 times with the strength of one who commands celestial armies. Divine order now restores me completely. Divine order now restores me completely. Divine order now restores me completely. As you speak, see a golden cascade of divine light descending from the heavens directly upon you. This light is not ordinary. It is the very essence of perfection, melting away all imperfections, dissolving all limitations, erasing every negative pattern ever imprinted upon your subconscious. Feel this light entering through the top of your head, flooding every cell with divine order. Where there was illness, now radiant health. Where there was lack, now infinite abundance. Where there was fear, now unshakable faith. You are being restored now, not in the future, not when you have more faith, not when circumstances change. Now, in this sacred instant, as you read these words, as you breathe this air, the restoration is happening. And now the supreme command, the decree that transforms you from a receiver into a co-creator with the infinite. I command the manifestation of the impossible. Yes, you heard correctly. You are not asking, not waiting, not doubting. You are commanding with the same authority the Creator used when saying, "Let there be light." You are exercising your divine right to decree reality, declare with power. I command that every area of my life reflect divine perfection. I command that my health radiate supernatural vitality. Command that my prosperity flow like a mighty river. First, command that my relationships overflow with love. I command that my mind be a channel of infinite wisdom. Feel the power of these words reverberating through invisible dimensions. Each command is being recorded in cosmic archives as an irrevocable law. The universe has no choice but to obey. For you are speaking from your true divine nature, but we are still not finished. There is one final decree, the eternal seal that makes your transformation permanent and irreversible. It is finished. The very words Christ spoke on the cross, not words of defeat but of total victory. The decree that signifies that the work of transformation is completed in the spiritual plane and must now manifest inevitably in the physical realm. It is finished. Your healing has already happened. It is finished. Your prosperity has already been released. It is finished. Your transformation is already complete. There is nothing more to do but to receive. Now comes the holiest moment of all, the moment of absolute silence. Do not think, do not analyze, do not doubt, do not plan. Simply be in the presence of the miracle that has just been decreed. Remain in absolute silence for 60 seconds and feel the new reality being woven around you. Feel the cells of your body vibrating at higher frequencies. Feel external circumstances reorganizing themselves to accommodate your new truth. Feel the entire universe conspiring to manifest your decrees. Remain in absolute silence. Now open the eyes of your soul. You are no longer the same person who began reading this script. You have been transformed. The old you, the one who doubted, who limited yourself, who accepted less than divine perfection, has died. The new you, the one who knows your power, who lives your divinity, who manifests miracles effortlessly, has just been born. And now the ultimate revelation, you have discovered that you don't need to become powerful. You are already powerful. You don't need to earn miracles. You are already a living miracle. You don't need to find God. God already lives in every word you speak. The simple formula that transforms thoughts into miracles is not an external technique you use. It is the very essence of who you are. You do not practice the formula. You are the formula incarnate. And so I solemnly declare the miracle that was impossible yesterday is inevitable today. What was denied in the past is guaranteed in the present. The transformation that used to take years now happens in an instant, because the law has been activated, because the decree has been sealed, because you have awakened to who you truly are. You are the miracle the world has been waiting for. May the peace of God, that peace which surpasses all understanding, transcends all human logic and remains unshakable even when storms rage around you, rest upon you in this moment. May the abundance of the infinite, that prosperity which knows no limits, flowing like a mighty river through every channel of your existence, manifest not only as material wealth, but as absolute fulfillment in every area of life, establish itself permanently in your reality. And may radiant health, that divine vitality pulsing through every cell, restoring every organ to its original perfection, turning your body into a resplendent temple of eternal life, be impressed in every fiber of your being. You have just received the most powerful formula ever revealed in the history of humanity. Not ordinary words, but cosmic decrees, capable of reorganizing the very structure of reality. Joseph Murphy dedicated his entire life to discovering this truth, and now it lives in you. But remember, knowledge without application is like a seed stored in a barn full of potential but unable to produce a harvest. The formula becomes miraculous only when practiced. Words become power only when whispered with faith in the sacred moment before sleep. Tonight, when you lie down in your bed, you will no longer be an ordinary person seeking help. You will be a conscious co-creator, using the fundamental laws of the universe to write a new chapter of your existence. Every whisper will be a seed of miracle planted in the most fertile garden of creation. Every visualization will be a divine blueprint transmitted to the cosmic architect of your life. For the next 21 nights, as you faithfully practice this sacred protocol, the impossible will begin to become inevitable. Circumstances that seemed fixed will start to reorganize. People you need to meet will appear on your path. Opportunities that were closed will open naturally, not because you especially deserve them, but because you are operating in harmony with the laws governing the manifestation of miracles. The world needs your transformation, not only for your personal good, but for the good of all humanity. When you heal, you contribute to collective healing. When you prosper in harmony with divine laws, you elevate the consciousness of abundance for all humankind. Your individual transformation is a cosmic service. But do not stop here. Joseph Murphy discovered even deeper layers of this spiritual science, secrets reserved only for the most dedicated students, laws even more powerful that can dramatically accelerate the manifestation process. There is a subtle mistake that most people make when practicing these techniques. A mistake that can completely nullify the power of the formula. There is a specific word that, when pronounced incorrectly, creates resistance in the subconscious instead of acceptance. There is a precise timing that can multiply the speed of your manifestations by 10%. And there is something even more extraordinary. Joseph Murphy discovered that certain combinations of words create what he called spiritual shock waves, impressions so powerful on the subconscious that they can manifest results in days, not weeks. In the next teaching, we will reveal the forbidden word that destroys every prayer, the fatal error that 99% of people make when trying to reprogram their subconscious, and the simple correction that transforms failures into instant miracles. You will discover how certain positive words in fact sabotage your manifestations, the secret timing that mystics have guarded for centuries, how to identify whether your subconscious is accepting or rejecting your impressions, the advanced technique Joseph Murphy used only with his closest students, and much more. If this teaching has touched your soul, if you felt the vibration of truth echoing in your heart, if something inside you has awakened to your true power, then you are ready for the most closely guarded secrets of conscious manifestation. Prepare yourself, because what you've learned today is only the first step of a golden staircase that leads to the most sacred halls of spiritual knowledge. The next step is about to be revealed. Until then, practice faithfully what has been shared. Whisper with authority, visualize with clarity, feel with intensity, and watch as the entire universe conspires to manifest the decrees of your renewed heart. May the stars align in your favor. May the winds of destiny blow in your favor. May every door open before you. May every seed you plant bloom into visible miracles. And always remember, you did not come into this world to be ordinary. You came to be extraordinary, not to accept limitations, but to transcend them. Not to live in scarcity, but to radiate abundance. You are a living miracle, discovering the power to create other miracles. The simple formula that transforms thoughts into miracles now lives within you. Use it wisely, use it faithfully, use it with reverence, and prepare to witness the impossible becoming your new reality until the next teaching. May the blessing of the infinite accompany every step of your journey of transformation. So be it. It is done. It is.